Action Comics 1011, Brian Michael Bendis writing with Steve Epting on the art. Leviathan Rising, still happening.
Yeah, and so we see Manhunter in full Kate Spencer, the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit, come to take her in, and it had me wondering if this is actually Special Crime Unit, and if that's really Maggie Sawyer because of the stuff that we've seen previously. And by the end of it, I'm pretty sure it was her, right? Because of the bumblingness, it didn't seem like these are agents of Leviathan, like the ones that came for Mr. Bones or Director Bones. But yeah, so we get to see Kate Spencer finally as Manhunter, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. On the run.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Superman finds Lois. We get a little flashback to like how Tiger left, and Tiger gave her a bunch of intel on what's going on, like the entire history of Spiral, what it is, all the ins and outs, all the secrets. And she's like, "Oh, I'm going to publish the shit out of this," basically. And then after they leave, though, unfortunately, we actually see that Tiger gets nabbed by the thing. That this big dude with the blue bomb, whatever it is, seems to get to Tiger. Tiger might be gone. He might be dead.
Yep.
Or teleported.
Which is a shame.
Because there's a theory in here, because of the lack of the bodies in the other places, that instead of killing everyone, it's actually teleporting them all somewhere.
Yep. And that's the other tale, too, is that they're not going after the world governments. They're going after these spy agencies. And that's what Lois puts together, is why are they going after basically the foot soldiers and not the generals?
Yeah.
So...
No, I like when Lois is on the phone with Perry. I've got this story, Lois, and I'm sure you can write it. But I need the Lois Lane headline. Like, what's the spin in this?
Yeah.
And Good's like, what's the Lois Lane headline? Like she doesn't understand. Just do it. So anyway, they go to Huntress because they need a corresponding source.
Which Bendis came out to Twitter because so many people were like, "Oh, Huntress, that was cool." It was originally supposed to be Grayson. and then because of the events of Rick Grayson,
yes,
Bendis couldn't use him,
of course.
So he didn't say it was a last minute change, but he was very disappointed because he wanted to play up the whole Dick Grayson Superman relationship, which, man, it's another reason to make me hate what they're doing.
I mean, it's fun for. I mean, I like Huntress, so it's fun that she gets a little bit of time here.
But she was. It also makes sense though because she was a higher up. Like she outranked.
But
Connor, do you remember if it was Agent 37? Was Dick's?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. What's the question?
Dick Grayson's number in Grayson. Do you remember if he was Agent 37?
That sounds familiar.
Okay, because she was like Agent 2. Like she was. Huntress was way up there. So it still makes story sense that she, they go to her.
It does make me think, though, that when Rick Grayson's corrected, that Bendis will find a way to have some Superman and Nightwing moments.
Yeah, because he wanted it there.
Which is nice.
Such a bummer.
He was 37.
Okay.
So, basically, Huntress is like, wait, you left Amanda Waller alone, like, in your house? They go back to the fortress. And, of course, Amanda Waller has stolen a bat pod thing that Batman had left behind.
And I love they're like, why would Batman leave something here? And Superman's just like, because that's what Bruce does.
He leaves things everywhere.
He leaves things everywhere, which I love. I love the humor around that. So I really love this issue. My one problem is that Epting draws Jimmy like he's 16 years old still.
Sure.
Which I get that Jimmy's supposed to be young, but I felt like I was looking at Archie here, and not Jimmy Olsen, who's, as he points out, is a war reporter. He has seen things. He's experienced, hardships. So, it's a small thing, but it's not. It didn't ruin the issue for me. I was just like, geez, Jimmy's young as shit here.
Yeah, that's fair. Although we are glossing over a scene here where a mysterious figure comes to Guardian, who's in the hospital after the Invisible Mafia stuff, and basically he's like, hey, like, what it exactly says to him again? You'll be
basically.
He tries to recruit him, right?
Yeah, because he tells him, he's like, hey, you stand for what we stand for. It's kind of like this truth and justice and American way stuff.
Yeah, so he's like basically we've taken out all these organizations, like something new's here to replace them, and he wants him to be a part of it. So,
which makes sense because he did work for Cadmus. That was like his thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was the guard there. So, you know, having him be this sergeant at arms for them. I'm just wondering what this whole point of Leviathan is. 'Cause I thought I had figured out with Talia, but the more they keep name dropping Talia, the less I think she has to do with it.
Leviathan rising. Yeah. So that's when they start speculating about the lack of bodies, and Superman describes the blue explosion where it wasn't really a bomb in the traditional sense. There was there was a reaction. There was something happened,
right?
But it wasn't like a traditional explosion. So that's where we get into these theories. And Jimmy tapped Waller though, the little sneaky ginger that he is.
Yes, he's got his sources. He is a war reporter after all. But they're like, well, wait, why would Amanda Waller, if she's involved in this at all, why would she go through this whole thing? And it basically, because she's Amanda Waller. Like, this is what she would do.
It's a really interesting place because, the final page is basically just like, okay, so who's Leviathan, what do they want, and what happens next? And we get all the things that are at play sort of around, like, Superman, Lois, and Jimmy. It's, Question, Waller, Huntress, Manhunter, Doctor, Bones, and Guardian, right? It's got all these people around them.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting though. It's because I got confused for a second. It says to be continued in Event Leviathan on sale June 12th, and I thought, wait, did the big one shot get pushed? And I checked, and I was like, no, it's still next week. What they're actually talking about is the actual first issue of the event itself, which is interesting that they're not saying, hey, read the big $10 special that's coming out next week.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a bit weird, but whatever.
Yeah.
So no, it's put all these pieces in play. It's not answered a damn thing. This has all been set up, this arc, and I've enjoyed it. So I'm excited for Event Leviathan now, which makes me wonder, what is Action Comics doing while Leviathan's actually going on? Is that tying into it still, or is it just doing its own thing now?
I don't know.
Intrigued.
Yeah.
I wonder if Action will be like the Jimmy. Well, that won't be the Jimmy say because we're getting a Jimmy book.
No, because Jimmy has his own book.
Okay, well, you know what I mean.
Lois has her own book.
I'm expecting.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like a specific side to it in Action.
Well, that's the one thing that Bendis has done, and I feel he can pride himself on, is Superman and Action do not feel like the same book. Like they each have their own groove that they've made, and this has been really seeding the Leviathan stuff, while Superman's been seeding the Unity Saga stuff.
And we still have the Invisible Mafia, we still have Red Cloud, we have all this stuff to play with. Either post Leviathan, or I wonder if they maybe what Action's doing during this time is that Invisible Mafia starts to try and maybe take advantage of the situation that Leviathan's rising.
And so at the end you get the Daily Planet. It looks like a Twitter post, and it says at Lois Lane exclusive Leviathan Rising. Do we feel like the Leviathan Rising is the Lois Lane headline?
Yeah, I suspect so. Now I'm really looking forward to that one shot next week now. Obviously the main part by Bendis, but also the Jimmy and Lois stuff by Rucka and for Action. So and even Supergirl's getting a part in it as well. So
yeah,
I look forward to it all. This is good. What are you giving Action Comics, Matty?
I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm really enjoying it. But again, the art, just little tiny stuff.
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. I think the reason why I'm not going higher than that is just because it is very much, here's all these pieces in play. There's very little actual dramatic hook on its own in this issue. It's just continuing all the pieces, putting them all in place for the start of the event. And that's cool.